Hi everyone, welcome to Get Smart in Art. So today we're going to talk about research, which is something that tends to be undertaken at the beginning of a project or a brief, but you can also refer back to your research, add to your research at any given point throughout a project. There's no set rules with this. However, in order for effective idea development, in order for the progress of a theme or a brief or a project or an exam, research tends to be done at the beginning of any given assignment. So I just want to today give you some examples of how I work when I'm researching. I'm going to take a very simple theme as an example for you to see, just so that things become more clear. So I'm currently doing some stamp designs and I'm basing it on nature. So I've taken birds as one example to show you today. So what I want to show you is, if I just go over here, is that when you're researching, you should think about the words that you're using when you type them into the search engine. So I'm thinking about birds, I'm looking at birds. Birds is something that I currently want to research and gather more information and knowledge on. So what I'd like you to do, what I tend to do is, in the search engine here, it's all about playing around with the words that you use. So bird is our keyword, our key vocabulary. So for you it could be insects, it could be still life, it could be sweets, it could be clothing, whatever your theme is on. I'm just giving you one example that I can relate to at the moment, but you can tailor this to your own project or whatever your title or theme is. So I've typed in bird artist, I've typed in, no, that's the wrong one, come back to that, bird art, bird artwork, and bird photography. These are just some examples that I'm using when I research something or a particular theme. This is a key vocabulary that I would use. So this enables you, and why do I do this? The whole point of this is to gather a broader range of responses that the engine, or Google in this case, would throw back at you. So you have a wider range of resource and sources that you can save. So what I would typically do is then go on to images. This is just the way that I work, and I would just trawl through and save the images that appeal to me. Now, when you're going to save an image, don't just right click and save as. In order to get higher resolution, better quality, especially if you're going to be producing a secondary drawing or a secondary piece from this. So I'm just clicking on this puffin, beautiful. And then just right click save as. Now, the first thing that you need to do, and I know this probably sounds like common sense, but the best thing in order to gather all your research is to make a folder. So I should have that folder up here, and then we'll just go to research and open this up. So here I'll have a folder, and I'm just going to throw in here, I haven't put many examples, but just throwing examples here of bird. It could be photography, drawings, paintings, sculptures, anything that you find of an influence to you. You could just throw them in here, into your initial folder, and title that as bird research, and put all your images there. It's better to have a lot than to not have much at all. So don't feel that you have to restrict yourself when you're researching. I only have 5 examples here, but it's just to show you an example of how I would tend to work. So from there, if you're a GCSE or an A-level student, or you're doing this, if this is an educational project that you're doing, you would be expected to use artists, photographers, designers you will need to find a collection of artists, photographers, designers, etc. To analyse and to gain more inspiration from. I tend to, and I advise my students to pick, depending whether it's their coursework or externally set assignment, 3 to 4 artists or photographers or designers. So here I just want to show you an example. I've made subfolders within my research folder, and again, just click on this. you can put your collection of images here because you'll be expected to analyse their artworks of the people that you've chosen as influence. Now, I've used examples of birds here, but actually you could use anyone. I'll just show you one example here of Ernst Haeckel's work that I really am inspired by. All of the images that I've collected here, they're of natural forms. However, there are no birds evident. So it doesn't always have to be, when you're researching or finding anyone as inspiration, it doesn't have to be related, to a T of the subject that you're doing in particular. The influence that I will gain, you're going to be expected to justify this in your analysis. In the next video, I'm going to talk about analysing works and how to evidence and resource your or showcase your research, let's say. It could be anything you take. So, for example, in these two pieces here, it's the vibrancy of colour, it's his use of colour that has really inspired me. In the other pieces, it's the composition, so it's the layout, it's the attention to detail that's particularly inspired me. So these are things that I'll go into detail later on another video, but I just want to give you an example. Think about when you're going to analyse works that you think broad, because again, I'm referring to the GCSE and A-level students. You're going to be expected to produce a final outcome. So, for example, if I'm talking about Emily Carter's work here, her work is quite refined. This will be something, if it was a GCSE or A-level piece of work that I'd be looking at, this is something that would be part of assessment objective 4. So, the final outcome, let's say. And you can see some examples, beautiful examples here. So she's more of an illustrator and a textiles artist. So I have a range here of people that I've looked at for influence. And again, not all of her work has birds in it. Contemporary artists here, really, really stunning pieces of work. So my advice to you is, when you're researching, let's just go back here, gather a range of imagery. Be open-minded and play around with the vocabulary that you're using. Evidence, record, chuck it into a Word document. It's absolutely fine, because later on I'm going to show you how to evidence this. Any websites that you may find of use. So, for example, I found this website extremely useful because it has a range of different responses into bird art. This particular has influenced me. Although I'm a 2D artist, this paper art here has really influenced me, and I'll be producing some work from influence. And so you can see there's a whole range here of artworks. Everything from tattoo art to graffiti art to installation art, it's all there. And again, I've just typed in bird art, but you could type in anything. It could be things such as insects, animals. You could even be more specific to, if it was a particular breed that you were interested in. So, for example, flamingos or kingfishers, for example, or magpies. So here, as you can see, I'm so sorry, I made a spelling mistake there. I'll just get rid of that. You can see here, it's, there's such a range. We're very lucky that we live in a time where we have all this information available to us at the click of a button. So what I want you to do, like I said, be broad, be open-minded with the words that you're using, make a folder, put all those images that initially influence you into that folder, make subfolders, and then from there, I want you to just go back to that so I can show you once again. Let's just go on to research. Yeah, open this up. Okay, make those subfolders of the artists or photographers or designers that have influenced you. Put those images in there of their work. Evidence any websites that you visit, and you will also need the names of the artworks that you find. This is very, very important, because later on when you go to analyse those works, that initial key information, the artist or photographer or designer's name, the name of the piece of work, along with the date and medium that was used to create it. These are key things that you're going to need. which I'm going to talk about this in another video when we go on to analysing artworks. But initially, when you're researching, these are the key points that I would like you to consider. I'll see you soon in another video.